Okay. I'm running a little bit late. Market opens in 1 minute. So the blue lines are yesterday's regular trading hours, new day opening gap, and then the pink lines are for today's gap. And then the yellow line is today's consequence encroachment of that gap, and then this yellow line is yesterday's. So maybe I'll make this one color. We'll do. I don't know. We'll do that. Um, Kind of annoying. My bias from yesterday ended up playing out, but it was deferred to the overnight session. Took out these lows, the 10 o'clock liquidity. Um, I was short right here, but I had taken a loss already in this because it was misbehaving. It was being held here, not allowed to run its lunch macro. Um, And so I took a short here, would not have gotten stopped. I decided to go to break even because it was being unruly, but it ended up, took a very long time rolling over to the 10 o'clock liquidity here, and then ultimately my full target, best case scenario for yesterday right here, the mid gap closure. So that's nice. Today is another kind of a weird day because there is now a lot of generated liquidity above us in the market here, but we still have the sell side down here. So I guess we'll see. I could see it running all of this out. I could see it taking out a couple of these highs and then reversing and potentially coming down to the liquidity here. Try to clean up the chart a little bit. Just got here late, was making my coffee and just getting everything set up. So I guess the mid gap closure is obviously the first draw that I would have. Plus liquidity. It's basically just gone straight up since open, so not much to really do with that. Yeah, I could see it going all the way back up. But say actually gonna check something real quick. I don't think there's any news today. I'm double checking. I hate that it loads up two tabs anytime I try to get on the internet. It opens up two tabs. My computer already struggles. Doesn't need two tabs. All right. Nothing. Oh, Trump speaks at 3, so uh, that wasn't there before. I checked at the beginning of the week. That wasn't there before. So uh, uh, hopefully the trading's good today, even though he speaks at 3. So yeah, there's like no news this week other than nope, nothing even on Friday. So there's nothing all week. Unemployment at 8:30 Thursday, but that's it. So yeah, I'm gonna get rid of yeah. Just trying to clean the chart a little bit, but I want to keep. So I'm keeping the lower quadrant of yesterday's new day gap and the low and the midpoint, and then all the stuff, uh, all the upper quadrant and high. I'm getting rid of because I have today's gap here, and there's just too much on the chart. Yes, yeah. Yesterday's trading was really annoying. I basically called the market exactly correct. The only thing I was wrong about was the lunch macro, but I wasn't wrong on that direction. It was just the time that it was supposed to happen. I wanted it to happen during launch macro, and they strangled it, held it at the high of day up until just about the very end of day. But even then, it chopped around near the high, and they deferred that move for the overnight session. So I just missed the whole thing. So it's rather annoying. And then, yeah, basically all day yesterday was pretty annoying. So took a small loss yesterday as well. Tricky. Feel like it could go either way. Just bearish S&T, this high on NQ. We've only gone up since the market opened. We have all this here. I feel like all of these little lows could get ran out. Technically, this is our first presented. There's no volume imbalance. It's very small. So I might change that, maybe. I don't know. I guess it's not that small. It's just a little smaller than yesterday's. I need to clean this list up. It's usually more organized. This is kind of an interesting place to look for a reversal. Yesterday's first presented because we've kind of moved up immediately, accumulated, and now we're taking out some liquidity here. And then this first presented from yesterday is just sitting right there. So that's nice. I want to see all this ran out. Anytime I see a nice little trend line like that, I want to target that. Got London liquidity here. I believe that's London. Doesn't London start at 1 or is it 2? I think it's technically 2, but that's all kind of stacked right before 2, so that seems obvious. There's also this. It's a nice liquidity pool. I mean, really, they just stacked buy-side liquidity all night and yesterday. Got nice, though. Got in short here. Got out break even, but took forever to reach my target. There's that big gap closure. Just straight up. Like this to get ran out. This really looks like it could come back up to here. Um, I am confident in some sort of retracement before that happens, whether it's just to take liquidity here, or maybe it, you know, really just rolls over and goes for this. I don't know. But I am leaning short right now in this moment. But it does seem as though uh, longer term it could go back up to these highs. Go ahead and get rid of these projections too. It's yesterday's first hour range projections. Form the high of day. It's pretty nice. So it's just about to be macro. I think it would be not too bad of an idea if we displace through yesterday's first presented to use that. So I'm just going to prep this order. We failed to reach that daily for value gap. That's a fine low-hanging fruit objective. Oh, 950 macro. My only concern is, does it want to make one more high? We're closing inside of that. It needs to close outside of it. So don't have that confirmation yet. Yesterday I jumped a short. So I'm going to wait. This 5-minute candle's looking kind of nice. See, we took out some liquidity, generated some more. So fair value gap right here on the 5-minute, probably interesting to note. Yeah, we did close below it. Haven't necessarily displaced below it. In this 5-minute candle, I kind of expect it to reach into this wick a little bit. Oh, look at that. Midpoint of that wick is exactly the mid-gap closure. It just goes straight down without reaching into that wick at all. That's pretty weak. Yeah, I kind of expect it to pop. I'm looking at the 5-second right now, and it's there's some buy side. I think it makes sense to take before it goes lower. Could technically wait till 10 o'clock to go lower. If it's really wanting to go lower, it could go early at 9:50. So this would be the earliest that it would go lower. Looks like it could stab up here. If it's going to remain weak, it needs to close below this pink dotted line and this black line. Reaching into the low of the daily fair value gap. Could take out these highs here. There's a liquidity sweep here. So it could be it doesn't go above this high, but it takes these highs here. There is more liquidity above the market, obviously, but because this was swept right there and this wasn't, the majority of the liquidity that's closest to price is right here. So I could see it taking that out, not taking this, and then reversing around 10 o'clock. Because it's just been straight up since market open. I think this is retail bull flag, retail, what do they call this, a cup and handle or something. uh, and then there's all that in there. I think they're gonna run all that. So that buy side was just now engaged right there. This could be a good target too. Just the 5 minute fair value gap here. That could be a nice place just to target. Of course, if it just goes straight up, there's not much to do. Where do you get in? So I just have this order sitting here. It's just prepped so that if I see something I like, I can get the order in quicker. Not necessarily going to get in. That other high is right here. I believe that's the high I was just talking about. So we'll see if it leaves that alone or if it just goes straight to the highs. That's annoying. Oh, yesterday's open was high resistance. I called it pretty well. Um, I was looking for a lunch macro short to take out these lows. Um, Took a couple in here. One was break even. One I jumped early, and that was a loss. And then I got short right here. But I noticed SMT on ES. ES had gotten significantly lower, and Q had not. So I thought, that's just the last straw. This is just not going the way that I wanted it to. So I got out break even. And then it took forever, but eventually it finally ran the liquidity. Went to my best case scenario, which was here. And now this morning, it's just straight up. So, so we're into that lower octant of the daily chart, the daily for value gap. Did end up taking that. Just a theory. There's another high here. Similar concepts. This is a sweep, so maybe it leaves this one. But goodness gracious, just again, I wouldn't be shocked if it just went up there. But it is 10 o'clock, so it's reasonable to expect some sort of retracement. It's 5 minutes. Created into an inversion for value gap, went to the high of it there. Uh, and this one. That's nice, actually. That is a really key level to watch, I think, for a reversal. It was formed right before this liquidity was taken. It was used to go higher. And now that we have displaced away from it, it could stop price. There's a small little gap right there. Just a teensy one. Isn't that interesting? That's a nice entry right there. I didn't see that in the moment, but that's happening right at 10. But now I'm just trying to figure out when exactly this will get going, because I think we'll get a retracement. The bodies are staying below that little tiny inefficiency. I think it could come up above this high again. I like the idea of it reversing here. I don't know how low it'll go, but I like the idea of that. What's ES doing? Okay, bearish S&T on NQ there. It says ripped above that. Really obvious liquidity here on ES. Look at that. That's just the most typical bull flag you've ever seen. That's getting ran through. That's for sure gonna get ran through. That is like out of a textbook. That's not gonna last. It's really hard trying to figure out exactly when something will happen because I think it could roll over here. I think it could be taking sell side, and then it'll come up and take buy side one more time, and then roll over. And I'm just not entirely sure. There is a small little 5-minute inefficiency here that's trading into. So I feel like it could come up one more time. So it's a suspension block here. That could be nice for some confirmation. If it displaces through that, you could use that as a conversion for value gap. So this gap here, actually a volume balance. traded into it, ran away from it. I'm waiting because this inefficiency could stop price. It could stop it and go higher, back up to here one more time, and then reverse. If it doesn't stop it, if it displaces through it, then that is a great place, I think, to target for an entry. So that's why I'm waiting to see what it does here. It's also the low, the daily for value gap. So it's a key level here. Hmm. Bang. Yes. Took the highs. This bearish SMT on NQ. That's really good, actually. That gives me more confidence that NQ might not take the highs because ES has already done so. So that's great, actually. That clears things up a little bit. The bodies stayed inside of that sell side imbalance. I really think it would be nice if it came up above these highs one more time because this is a bull flag. And so a lot of retail traders aren't going to be in this long yet. Some more experienced ones might be, right? They're trying to get in at the low of the bull flag. Maybe some people got in above here. Majority of people will be getting in above a pivot high break. So right here or here with the stops down here. So I think it'd be really beneficial for a short if it came up, tripped these people first. Because the majority of people, majority of retail, definitely unexperienced retail traders are going to be going long above here and here. So it'd be really nice if we came up before going lower. And now it's potentially offering a retail double bottom entry So that just generates more liquidity to sell into. Mm. 10:15, new 15-minute candle. Currently trading into a 15-minute inefficiency. If we displace through this inversion, I like that. Inefficiency with the bodies. And then used it here pretty perfect, and now we're displacing, so I like all that. I like what I'm seeing here. Immediate rebalance. Went up to the daily for value gap, immediately rejected. I don't really like that it left these highs intact here. I really would have preferred it to trip at least one of these highs. But I don't have confirmation on this until, at bare minimum, a body closes below this inversion. Preferably, it displaces and closes far away from it, and then comes up and just barely touches it, and then rolls over. Until one of those two things happens, it could still go higher. Yeah, it looks like it's gonna. Because looking at ES here, ES is down a lot more than NQ, and it's into this order block. And so it almost looks like ES might retrace into this inefficiency. Maybe ES takes this little pivot high, and then that would allow NQ to take these highs here. And then there'd be a potential bearish SMT on ES. Use that mid gap as well, right there. And that mid gap is also the consequence encouragement of this 5-minute wick. I really don't want it to just go lower here. I'd rather it go higher first. This is a weird morning as well because it's not. It's kind of high resistance, a little bit, but it is moving higher. But This really convinces me that this is a Judas swing because it just went straight up, especially leaving all these lows here. And then right at 9:30, it just ran away from all these lows, made a bull flag, went higher, bull flag, higher, and now another bull flag. And now look at this. This is really convincing me that this is a Judas swing because there's been zero liquidity taken. Sell side liquidity anyway on this move up. So, and there's bearish SMT on AQ. This little baby inefficiency right there. It held it here. I got rid of it just because I wanted to clean the chart a little bit, but there is that little tiny inefficiency there. The wicks went up to that. So I like that it tripped that high. Just focus in on this. These are clean lows here for liquidity. I think it would just be so great if it used the consequence encroachment of that 5-minute inversion. Just be swell, I think. Let's check. Yes. Yeah, perfect. I really would like InQ to take this high. 1020. Interesting. High odds of a pivot high forming at around 1030. So that could help with timing. If it runs up before 1030, I feel like I want to give it up until 1030 to continue pressing higher. I would prefer it to stop inside of this inversion, and then this would be kind of like a defensive PD array. So in order for that to play out, it would need to kind of meander in here up until maybe 10:25 or 10:26 or 27, and then the last couple minutes before 10:30, it rallies. And then right around 10:30, we're trading into this. And then this is used to go and send price lower right around 10:30. I think that would be the most optimal entry. So I'd really like it if it doesn't take this out. If it just kind of stays in this range up until maybe 10:26, and then the last couple minutes before 10:30, it rallies up into my PD array version for value gap. It could go now. That's possible. It could end up going lower now, and then 10:30 accelerate it lower. That's also possible. But I think best case scenario, it does what I just explained a minute ago. That is some pretty nice displacement, and there's a nice inversion for value gap right here. And it's overlapping that weekly consequence encroachment of the weekly wick. So that's beautiful, actually. It's tempting to to go for that, viewing this as the liquidity sweep here. I like that. Change state delivery. New 5 minutes just about to open. It's tricky though, because it's holding this, but I really like that. I really do. And it's time to go lower. This is definitely good enough. I'm gonna place an order for that. If it stops out, I'll try again up here. If that doesn't work, I'm wrong, and I'll wait for the afternoon session. Oh, hold on. ES took this low. There's more liquidity down here, though, so it's... want to see NQ get heavy here soon. ES just took that little low there. Q hasn't even taken this out. Ugh. I feel like trading lately has just been really reluctant. I mean, ES is doing exactly what I said it should do. It went to this inefficiency. I said maybe it goes here, and it's heading lower. But NQ is struggling to go lower. I still really like, just looking at NQ, I really like it. um, just barely missed my fill there. What's really selling me on this is the weekly wick consequence encroachment is overlapping this. That's what's really selling me on it. Plus everything else. So I'm hoping at 10:30 it wicks up quickly above these highs, stopping out early shorts, and then rejects off this PD array immediately and just runs lower. That's what I'm wanting to see at 10:30. And I don't want it to go above this high because I want this to be that sweep of liquidity. Check out the 5 minute candle. Yeah. Now I want it to see immediately go lower. Perfect. Don't really want to see it come back up too many times. I want to see a low resistance run lower to these liquidity pools here. These here. Really nice sell side generated here. This is going up higher than I wanted it to. I wanted it to reject off that inversion. This is already a little too much. Maybe it's due to ES and the SMT going on. Yeah, I I don't like that. I think it'd be nice if these highs were left intact, because we have this sweep here, and that could be sufficient to go lower. It'd be nice if we left these highs intact for the lunch macro to come back up, and then 10 o'clock reversal, and then lunch macro goes back up. But I don't like that it blew through this. I really wanted it to reject off that quickly. I'd feel a little better if this whole, there you go, this whole gap gets filled in. I want to see speed lower here. I don't want to see it meander too much longer up here. Certainly for these lows here, that would just be amazing if we snapped to these lows. I feel like we should. I'm looking at the 5-second, and there's a lot of stacked. You can see with the wicks, there's a lot of stacked lows in here. So it'd be nice just to see a big candle cut through all that. Check yes. I want to see gaps stay open, like this gap here. I want that to stay open. Again, it really needed to just take that out. It says these lows here. Body closing up above the midpoint of that. I don't want to see that. It's just not behaving. It's really not. Let's check this 5 minute. Got a big wick here on the 5 minute. Bodies have closed below that upper quadrant of the new day gap on the 5 minute chart. It's kind of nice. I want to see these lows taken out very quickly. Five seconds looking pretty good. It's getting some acceleration, leaving a gap open. Yeah. As soon as I say that, it's coming back. Part of me wants to go to break even and demand it goes right now, because it's spending too much time. Yeah, I'm gonna do that. I don't like what it's doing. I just don't like it. Needs to go right now. It's spent enough time here. Um, if it continues to chop here, that doesn't mean I'm wrong on the direction. That just means I'm wrong on the timing, and so I can just get back in at another time. But I want it to go right now. So part of me wants to just take it off here and mitigate that loss from yesterday, but I do think it will come back down into the range because all this liquidity is just too good. I hate it's just getting stuck here. It's so annoying. If it breaks through that, amazing, but it's kind of a lot to overcome at this point. It's really struggling. Uh, Out there, break even. Annoying. So annoying. Trading's so annoying. So hard sometimes. It's ridiculous. There's absolutely no reason, if it's bearish, for this body to close like that above this inversion. Zero reason for it to do that if it's going to be bearish. This is the liquidity. If it's bearish and it's going to go lower, this is the liquidity sweep. This is the change of state of delivery. And then this is one last little sweep here before heading lower. This is unacceptable. Of course, I get stopped break even to the tick before it, right before it takes that out. Oh my gosh, I'm so frustrated by that. Genuinely. When it's spending this much time here, what's stopping it from running this out real quick and then going lower? I'm so frustrated by that. Genuinely, it's just so annoying. I was thinking right as I got stopped that it's like, oh, it failed to reach the inversion and then immediately came back down. That actually looks good. Hmm. Well, I would certainly be at break even at this point after these lows are taken. So if it snaps back up here, pretty decent odds it's a break even trade anyway, unless I decide to take it off here. Of course, I can't know if I would do that. Um, so annoying. ES took this out. ES is beautiful. Like, honestly, I mean, look at this. 10 o'clock forms the high right around 10 on ES. Displaces lower. Break of structure. Just kisses this little inefficiency here. Just barely to the tick. And then it just goes straight lower. Like, ES is honestly really clean. And then you got NQ over here. Just being... So you know what? This setup that I took is perfect. It really is perfect. Because if you look at ES did the thing. It did everything I would have wanted NQ to do. And there's supposed to be, correlated assets. So this is just being strangled. This is high resistance. This is fill. This is... It's just not... It should have gone lower. And I can prove it because look at ES. ES went lower right at the time I said it should. And ES is just behaving. This is annoying on ES. Realistically, ES should have taken these lows quicker, but it did it eventually. And NQ is just not behaving. So I like the entry. I really do like that. That is amazing. But NQ is just I don't know. I feel this isn't normal. I don't think this should have happened, especially looking at ES because ES behaved perfectly. So this is kind of nice. This is that initial entry I was waiting for over here, but it was never offered. It closed significantly below the inversion, came up, kissed it, and then has gone back down. But we're getting stopped here. You don't want to see this come back in multiple times. This could run highs. Um, just because it's realistically NQ should be down here by now, but it's not. So who knows what it's going to do? We have sell side and buy side. Sell side below us, buy side above us in the market. More buy side up here. I mean, we really are in the middle of this range. I want to lean short, but it is just, this isn't tradable. It really is. You shouldn't be trying to trade this. It's really frustrating because ES did amazing, like perfect. Ran up and then basically right at 10 o'clock formed the high. I mean, 10 o'clock is right here and it displaces one more time. And then we get a change in the state of delivery and it offers a nice little entry here and it just ran lower immediately. 1020 sends us lower. 1030 hits. I mean, it's nice. It didn't go, I was wanting it to go down to these pre-market lows. It could still do that, but this is good enough. Taking out this bull flag here is good enough. Plus, it took out the high here. So, I mean, ES is just trading way cleaner than NQ right now, which is kind of crazy because usually it's the opposite. But, I mean, this is NQ right now. It's just disgusting. So, my chart's so busy, but I feel like everything is relevant. I guess because we have this bullish S&T on NQ, this could be offering an entry to go long. This could be it could be 10 o'clock offering a continuation. Because we have all the stacked liquidity here, and then which is likely to get ran, and then we have a stacked high at the high of day right there, and then all this. So this could be continuation to go higher. Because it's clearly being extremely reluctant to go lower. I really wish I would have found this inversion earlier because, I mean, that's really nice, isn't it? Right at 10 a.m., so that's perfect. It just doesn't have any follow through behind it. Yeah, I think this is going to run these highs. Just about 1050 macro as well, so it's tempting to try to trade this higher. But I just really hate that we left all this in here. I just don't like that. Not an expert on breakers. Oops. But I believe this is a 15-minute breaker here. Because it took a low and then took the high. So I think it's a breaker, but I'm not an expert on them. They kind of confuse me a little bit. So it could be that because this breaker is here, assuming this is a proper ICT breaker on the 15-minute chart, I'm looking at it. I guess I'll just do this. I think this up close candle is the breaker. Low and then high breaker. It could be that because this is here, that's why it's so reluctant to push back into this range because if this is a balanced price range in here, because it offered sell side and buy side, then it shouldn't really come back into this balanced price range. So it could be that that's why it is being so reluctant to press through that. And it swept all this here. This is why it's kind of a struggle right now because the sell side is really obvious. If you zoom way out here, we're clearly on the higher time frame seeming pretty bearish, but we have buy side here. This is that daily fair value gap. Been working the low of it. We haven't been able to press up to the midpoint yet. Maybe that happens here. Got buy side here. This looks bullish. Taking this out, breakup structure here. This looks bullish. But it's just really uncertain. It's just kind of uncertain. I guess shorts are more interesting the higher up in the range we get, but also it's like, the higher up in the range we get, the more potentially bullish we are and the more likely we are to take out this buy side. So with the sell side down here, it's just like, which way it doesn't want to go. It's hard to tell. But it could be that this is what is making price so reluctant to go lower, especially with the buy side sitting up here that it hasn't taken yet. Trump speaking at 3 today, that could be why as well. So I don't know. 1050 macro and it's not heading higher. Well, I think I'm going to take a break and potentially come back for the afternoon session.